Hi up, I dare say StarCraft here, and welcome to Game 2 between the little one and TAiLS. While the game is getting started, I'm going to click around the minimap as maniacally as possible. See if I can't induce a seizure. Whilst you're amid an epileptic event, I'm going to get back to telling you about what happened to me. So, by selling all my worldly possessions, I'd amassed enough wealth to buy a plane ticket to a destination. However, it didn't escape my notice that if I spent all my money on a plane ticket, I would, whilst at my destination, have no money to buy food. Now, I wish the way out of my bleak situation was something more glamorous than a post on a notice board outside a Peck and Save, but I'm not about to deny my 8.5 by 11 saviour. It said something like anthropological excursion to Peru needs a hand. It said that my travel, accommodation and food would be covered. There was no pay, but in my desperate situation, it sounded ideal. Now I rang them up and it turns out they were a serious bunch of blokes. They had me come down, sign a contract and a stack of liability releases. It was also at this time that my new companions took it upon themselves to attempt to impress upon me how arduous this journey would be. That we were going somewhere extremely remote, that it's hard to get to, that medical attention would not be readily available, modern conveniences out of the question, communication with the outside world very sparse, but all I heard was adventure, adventure, adventure. Now back to the game briefly, it looks like TAiLS is planning to do the exact same thing he did last game. He's going to cannon out the little one's expansion, and let's see how the little one responds to it this time. He sees the probe go by, and now the drone spots the pylons going down. TAiLS very good at this cheese, protecting his probe inside of a wall of pylons. And TLO looks like he's just going to opt out of this. He's going to take the expansion at the third instead, but he's going to leave this hatchery up for as long as he can, so TAiLS is none the wiser. He's going to force him to put minerals into cannoning this location, but he can still cancel at the last minute if he wants to. Now let's check back in TAiLS' base, see what he's up to. Looks like he's going to take his own expansion. TAiLS being very cautious here, doesn't want to overcommit. The little one does in fact cancel his hatchery, but he has an expansion building and he's got TAiLS to commit to a pylon and a cannon on a base TLO's not planning to take. This is a bit more like the little one we've come to know and love, baiting TAiLS into wasting money. And look at this, TAiLS realizing something must be going on. He scouts out both of the little one's expansions, and he's just going to cannon this one. Very interesting. The little one doesn't see it. This could be very, very unfortunate for him. Actually, it looks a bit like the little one's suspicious, thinks something might be going on here, and he's right. And he discovers this pylon. We'll see if it's enough. He's only got 2 Zerglings. I don't think they can get that pylon down before the cannon finishes. And it doesn't matter anyway. TAiLS laying down a second pylon and he's going to go to work on those Zerglings. It doesn't take a probe very long to kill a Zergling if they're not fighting back. Seems like the little one doesn't want to get thrown off his macro game this time. He's got no spine crawlers, very few Zerglings on the map, and I just don't think he has the defenses to deal with this. He will get one pylon. The cannon finishes and it's going to take out one Zergling. It's going to take out the second Zergling. He's got 2 more to finish off the pylon, but that's it for this hatchery. He's got no way to protect this. Now this is actually not the end of the world for the little one. He's going to lose this hatchery, but again TAiLS has put a lot of minerals into cannoning this location. So long as the little one doesn't lose that queen, he'll come out ahead. The little one responding with 10 Zerglings and a Baneling nest on the way. Looks like he's sick of taking this abuse. Back in TAiLS' base, he's got a pretty hardy wall, but pretty paltry saturation on his bases. The harvest account neck and neck at this point. Oh, so careless to be building Zerglings from that base. The little one donating minerals back to TAiLS yet again. He's going to use this ragtag band of half-dead Zerglings to scout out TAiLS' base. And the hatchery falls. Shame. Those broodlings are just going to sit there doing nothing. Well, let's check back with our underdog Zergling pack. What have they found out? Looks like they're going to park themselves outside the base of TAiLS and morph into banelings. And the little one sees that there's 2 cannons at the front door and a couple buildings blocking the way. It's going to take quite a bit to get through that, actually. Several more banelings on the way, and the little one looks like he's going to move out to check the third, or no, he's just hiding those there, so TAiLS can't get a quick peek. TAiLS just pumping out sentry at this point. That's all he really needs to protect himself. If he can keep the little one off his back for a while he saturates his bases, he'll be in a pretty good position. Looks like the little one doing one more scouting mission to see what's up front, and he does see the 2 cannons behind a secure wall. There's no way in but to bust down that door. Those 2 cannons actually will do a fair bit of damage while that wall is coming down. And it looks like the little one's ready to move. He's going to send everything he's got at the top pylon. I'm not sure he should go there. That's going to be very easy to block off with the force field, and that's exactly what TAiLS does. Little one trying a different entry point, but he's not going to get it, and now he's out of banelings. He's going to take this opportunity to morph another set, but so far that engagement very strongly benefited TAiLS. The force fields have worn off, and the little one's going to try to take another pass at these cannons. It looks like he might be able to get it just through sheer force of will. And TAiLS bringing his prize, but the banelings are incoming. He's got to get out of there. Oh wow, evading it by the skin of his teeth. Could have been very bad for TAiLS, but as it turns out, he's pretty well unscathed. He lost a gateway, a pylon, and a couple cannons, but that's pretty much it. The little one sacrificed his entire army, and he'd been cutting drones the entire time. And it turns out to be too much for the little one to bear. He GG's. If we take a look from the little one's perspective, he actually doesn't know a whole lot about what's going on in TAiLS' base. He must just realise that he's been cutting drones this entire time, and he very plainly saw that TAiLS had not been when that whole stream of probes came out to do battle with the Zerglings and played dodge ball with the banelings and won. TLO, always with his finger on the pulse of the game, knows when it's hopeless. And that's it for this series of games between TAiLS and TLO. TAiLS taking both with a cheesy strategy. And if you want to know what happens to me in Peru, come back in a week. It's been I Dare Say StarCraft, and I'll see you next time.